Hey there, it's Shelley Bosworth and welcome back to another episode of the She is Courageous podcast. All right, this week we are talking about habits. Habits, those things that you do often and regularly, sometimes without even knowing you're doing it. We talk about habits like they're a magic fix, that if you can just build better habits, everything will be fine. If only it were that simple, right? Habits, oh God, like when I think about habits, maybe when you think about habits, what do you think about when I say the word habits? I'd love you to think first and foremost, actually. I'm always about kind of come along with me on this journey, right? So what good habits have you got? When you think about habits, where does your mind go? Because I bet it goes straight to the bad habits. And there is a question there too. What bad habits have you got? What good habits have you got? Because habits aren't about willpower. They're not about being more disciplined. They are shortcuts, if you like. We have habits because our brain is trying to save energy. Yeah, that's true. Basically, habits are your brain trying to save energy, trying to automate things to make life easier. Now, that's a really good thing. But what we do need to do is make sure that your brain is automating the right stuff. That is why I asked you very first and foremost, what do you think of when you think of habits? Because I think we have this narrative that habits, and Shelley's going to talk about the mindset of habits, so she's clearly going to talk about the bad habits and how you break the bad habits. Well, yes and no. I want to get you thinking about habits, but I want you to really understand what habits are. Like I'm always saying, when you understand something, you can understand your behaviours within it and you can do more about it if you want to. So habits are your brain trying to save energy, to automate things and make life easier. That can be a good thing if you are automating the right stuff. So let's think about the most obvious habit that everyone has. I really hope everyone has this habit. Brushing your teeth. I just actually ran my tongue across my teeth as I said this. Brushing your teeth. That was not a habit, just an automated response. Brushing your teeth every night. Every morning, every night. Okay? Everybody, pretty much everybody, brushes their teeth in the morning and at night. Okay? It's not a debate in your head. You don't give yourself a pep talk about it. I know mums across the land, if you're listening to this right now, you might be like, you've not been in my house with the kids at night. But generally speaking, we brush our teeth. We brush our teeth in the morning, we brush our teeth at night. We don't have to give ourselves a pep talk. As I say, we don't have to psych ourselves up for it. We just do it. That is what we're aiming for when we're building habits. We are aiming to be in a place where we just do it. We're also aiming to be in a place where we have understanding and awareness of what we just do. Now, there was a myth, okay? You've probably heard the myth that it takes 21 days to build a habit. It is suggested it can take anywhere between 18 and 254 days to build a habit because it totally depends on the person, the habit, and life itself. So there is no it takes 21 days to make a habit. And oh my God, over the years, I've read all kinds of stuff. If I'm really honest, I've tried different ways that have been suggested around building habits. But I've definitely heard in the past the 21 days. It takes 21 days of doing something consistently for it to become a habit. Well, I've done things consistently for 21 days. And I can tell you now on day 22, I haven't felt like I'm doing it without even thinking. So it can take any amount of time. And this 18 to 254, what it's basically saying is there is not an answer to how long it takes to build a habit. What it depends on is the individual, the habit that you're trying to build, and life itself. Building habits is not about counting days. It is about, the words I was about to use were showing up consistently, but it is about consistently showing up to put the habit in place to do the thing and setting yourself up to succeed in doing the thing. And here's the really key piece, making it feel rewarding enough that your brain wants to keep doing it. I talk about this all the time in mindset stuff. I talk about how everything we do has a benefit to us, even the stuff that's not helping us. Because a benefit to us might be keeping us safe, might be keeping us comfortable. That's the benefit. I'm safe, I'm comfortable. Everything we do has a benefit. And habits need to have a benefit. There needs to be a reward of some sort, and that's what a benefit is. So if we feel that a habit rewards us enough, our brain wants to keep doing it. So why do we therefore have good habits and bad habits, right? And why is it that bad habits are so much easier to build? Well, it's a really simple answer. Bad habits usually feel good right now. They have a much more instant, if you like, reward to them. They tend to have that benefit that we're looking for, might not be the right benefit, but it is more of a here and now. So scrolling social media, I mean, I'm not a TikToker, okay? I just can't, I think it's because I know it would become a really bad habit. But let's use scrolling TikTok, because everyone talks to me about, like, once you're in, that's it. Scrolling TikTok instead of doing that piece of work you need to do, or instead of going to the gym. Well, scrolling TikTok is instant gratification, instant entertainment. Having that biscuit instead of preparing dinner, instant pleasure. Your brain loves an instant reward. Yours, mine, all of ours. Our brains love an instant reward. Good habits usually, I'm not saying always, but usually have some delay to the reward. So let's use the example I've just had. TikTok, instead of going to the gym. TikTok, instant gratification. Going to the gym, you will feel good, hopefully after you've been to the gym, certainly later and when you've been doing it for a period of time. We're all wired to want the quick win, and more often than not, the bad habit gives us the quick win. But as always, you can hack this if you want. And what I mean by that is you can circumnavigate this. You can stack the deck in your favour. So I want to talk today really quickly, simply about how you can build habits that stick. Okay? How you can build good habits, but how you can set yourself up to succeed in those good habits. So here's my first one. My first tip for you, if you want to build habits that actually stick, is make it really obvious. What do I mean? I mean, don't make it hard for yourself. Don't rely on memory or motivation. When you are first building a habit, you need to make it really, really obvious, like setting yourself up so that the habit is staring you in the face. So if you wanted to read more, put the book somewhere, like put it on your pillow, not on your bedside cabinet. Okay, so you literally have to pick it up and move it, and you've got it in your hand, and that reminds you. Because if you rely on memory or motivation, you are already setting yourself up to fail because the habit's not there yet. What's the classic? People talk about, like, put your gym clothes out the night before, and don't just put them out somewhere, like put them out where you go to get dressed. Make it really easy for yourself. So make it obvious, make it easy. Make it small as a starting point. So if you want to get into running 3, 4, 5 times a week, whatever it is, start with walk for 5 minutes once. Like, start small and build, because tiny is achievable and builds momentum. So you've got to make it really obvious. Like, let's roll out a whole one, right? You want to go to the gym, okay? And you want to build this into your habits. So first of all, you've got to make it really obvious. Like, make the commitment to yourself. I should say that first and foremost. If you decide you want to do something, only you can make the commitment to yourself to do this. I'm talking about how do you make it a habit, not how do you decide what you want to do. Okay, that's a whole other episode, and there's probably one in the back catalogue. This is about something you're saying you want to do, but you just keep not quite getting there, not because of procrastination, not because of self-sabotage, not because of those things, but just because you just can't seem to instill the habit. So you can make habits really easy by making it really obvious. Like, what do you need in order to fulfill that habit? How can you have that stuff really obviously in front of you to remind you every single day that you said you were going to do this, or every other day, whatever it is? Then how can you make it really easy? So you don't start a gym, I want to create a habit where I'm going to get fit and healthy by going to the gym more often. I'm going to say get specific, I'm going to go to the gym every single day. Well, the habit's not going to be, I'm going to go to the gym every single day and work out for an hour. Actually, the habit might be, start with twice a week for 10 minutes. Make it small, make it doable, make it obvious, put the trainers by the door, put your gym stuff out, go twice, go for 10 minutes. Build the momentum, enjoy it, make it satisfying, and celebrate the hell out of doing it. Because your brain needs that hit of well done. So do whatever you need to do to recognise that actually you've made that happen. I've seen this so many times. I mean, like the gym's a really good example, okay? So I know I work with a lot of business owners, but I was working with a particular client and she was trying, like she kept saying to me, I want to be like all those people that exercise in the morning. And she was like, I just can't make it happen. I don't get up, I don't do this, I don't do the other. And everything was like, I'm so rubbish. So here's what we did, okay? We talked about how can we make this really, like, not just easy for you, but actually hard to avoid. And so one thing she did without fail every single morning was have a cup of coffee. And it was almost like she was telling herself that she had to do this instead of that. Well, that was the first thing we said. Actually, you don't need to do that. So there's this thing called habit stacking, right? If you already have an ingrained habit, you might not even know you're doing it, habit. But if you can recognise where you have a habit, stack what you're trying to build as a new habit against it. So she always went, the first thing she did was go and make a cup of coffee. So what we did was actually we put her gym stuff down in the kitchen. Well, we didn't, she did. But I suggested, as silly as it sounds, put your gym stuff downstairs. Because the first thing you do is go straight to the kitchen and make coffee. And then when you get into the kitchen, it's there. And you're going to have to make a conscious decision, because it's a conscious decision. There's no subconscious at this moment in time. You either decide there and then that you are or you aren't going. That's not about habit, that's about decision. So what she would do is she would put the kettle on, and while the kettle was boiling, she would stick her gym stuff on. Because let's remember, you don't need a shower to go to the gym. You're just throwing your stuff on. And then she was already halfway there to going to the gym and doing the thing. That one tiny thing helped her build. Because here's the other thing. What we have to do is stop making it about the outcome and actually make it about who we want to become. So that one little shift enabled her to start seeing herself not as someone who should exercise, but actually as someone who does. Now, this didn't happen overnight, and you might be like, whatever, Shelley, rolling your eyes while you're listening to this. But these are the things that we need to think about, okay? Building a habit is making a change, doing something that you're currently not doing. And so we've got to make it really easy, really obvious, and show you the benefit, the reward. But it's not about the outcome of the habit. So it's not about the outcome, it's about the become. Who do you need to become? Who do you want to become? Don't focus on the outcome of going to the gym. Focus on wanting to become someone who goes to the gym and feels better about themselves. Because this is the bit, okay? When it comes to habit, you've got to be really clear about why you're bothering. Building habits, okay, often gets mistaken for routine, boring, and that's not what it is, okay? This conversation is about the habits that you want to make important stuff more automatic so that you've got, I don't know, energy for the big stuff. Habits in business are about making it easier for you so you've got the energy to do the big stuff that's not as easy to make a habit out of. Without good habits, everything feels harder than it has to. But if you can find what are the good habits that would make life easier for you, it's like having, so I said, remember what a habit is. It's doing something almost to the point you don't even think about it. So imagine having like this secret autopilot in your life that's working in your favour. Because we've all got a secret autopilot that's probably not working in our favour. So it's about identifying what are the things that you want to do that are better for you. I'm not asking you to even think about the stuff that you're not, okay? I want you to think about the stuff that you want to do that's better for you. Make it small. How do you start? Make it obvious, make it easy, make it small, make it doable, and build from there. And sticking to the habits is this piece about how you shift how you see yourself. So then you start to move from, I'm trying to eat healthier to I am someone who chooses to eat healthier. It sounds really small. This is about you recognizing and making a conscious decision to work on your subconscious thoughts. Your brain wants to stay consistent with who you believe you are. So when you start to change the internal story, this is all about mindset, people, that's when sticking to your habits, the ones you're trying to build, stops being a fight. It becomes part of who you are. It becomes the autopilot. It becomes the stuff you don't even think about. There's no needing to get this perfect. There's no needing to, having to go from day one every single day without fail. You just have to keep trying, keep doing, because momentum matters so much with habits. Think about what a habit is. It's the repeating of. And that is fueled by momentum. But momentum is fueled by action, and momentum and action is fueled by showing yourself what you're capable of. Your habits right now are shaping your future. Whether you realise it or not, whether you are prepared to admit it or not, your habits are currently shaping your future. Everything you do and or don't do is shaping the next moment that does or doesn't happen. So every habit that you have right now, good, bad, or indifferent, is creating the reality you have in your life. But as I always talk about with mindset, thoughts, feelings, actions, reality, it all starts with how you see yourself and how you think about yourself, which then creates the emotion inside of you, the feeling. When it comes to habits, which is the act, the action, it will come back into whether you believe you're capable, who you believe you are, who you believe you're becoming, and how that makes you feel. If you already start out with, I'll never be able to, I can't, guess what? You'll never be able to, you won't. So I would love you today to just think about one tiny habit that you would like to build. Make it really, really small, like laughably easy. Send me a DM. Send me a DM. Tell me what it is. Tell me what habit you want to build into your day, week, month. Because I will absolutely support you, cheer you on. Use me as your accountability. Put it out there. The minute you say it out loud, you've already taken the first step. Small wins, tiny steps, repeated daily. That's the game changer of habits. That's how you get the different outcomes you're all looking for. That's how you become the woman who has the different outcomes. So you don't have to let go of all your bad habits. But what you do need to do is make sure that your good habits are the ones that are taking you where you want to go, and maybe bolster those with a few more that will move you even faster to exactly where you want to get to.